We're here at the National Theatre. We just watched Oslo play that won the Tony Awards.
Tony Award for Best Play. Yeah, he won the Tony Award for Best Play this year. Just transferred from New York to the National Theatre with a new cast, and now it stays here for like a month or two, and then it transfers to the West End. So the play is about
Yes.
the events that had to happen in order for the Oslo Accords to occur in 1993. Which was a series of accords between Israeli people and Palestinians.
Yeah, the first actual agreement since, I don't know, in 30 years of like a lot of failed attempts to do diplomacy.
Yeah.
This one was like unofficial, and through like Norway, which is not like what is usually you would expect. Like the US usually tries to command all the diplomatic situation, but then this way Norway interfered, like secret, breaking a lot of protocols, and that's what the play is about. Like specifically how this Norwegian couple hosted the whole meetings and organized and coordinated everything.
I really don't know a lot about all that conflict in the Middle East.
Same thing.
But I think that the play made itself very clear in what it was telling. It wasn't difficult to follow or to understand.
Yeah, it's very like pedagogical, let's say. It's very like,
but not too much.
Not too much. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I was curious to see like what someone who really knows about the issue, or someone who really has a strong opinion about it.
Yeah, or either of the parties. Yeah.
But for us, we could like follow everything.
Yeah. It was very easy. I mean, now after the show, I don't know exactly who was who. Like I know that guy was more senior than that guy, but I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Like who was the minister, who was
or the exact
It worked out so well. Like
super good.
The whole idea of having like this couple from Norway, and it's like you kind of identify with them, right? Because like we want world peace, and then like you have to do something about it.
Unorthodoxal.
And they're not people that would break rules, but like this was like the super exception in which they would break rules
because they have a conviction that this would change. There's different methodology.
And and they have so many lines that explain so much. Like in the beginning, they say like if there's only a 2% chance of this working out, isn't it worth it? Like doing anything, everything that it takes.
And it's very emotional. Like I felt a lot like touched by it. I felt touched by something like greater than like empathizing with the characters or like identifying with like their struggle was with but it was more about like the whole situation. That's what really struck me was like something like more abstract. What really got me was more about their mutual efforts to really come to an agreement. How they're kind of like not that different in the end.
But that's the thing, like all of this, that's what I'm trying to see how I feel about it. You know about all of this, and still it was good. Like you know that they're all people, they're fighting for their own people. They don't really want like to kill everybody. They just want to protect their own. And they're humans. If they sit down and talk, they'll be able to get along. They'll see another human being. So like it's all things that you know, but it was shown in such a nice way.
And the actors were like, oh my god, so amazing. All of them are so good, so compelling, each character so well done as well, and not too deep that like distracts you from the whole plot. And like there's no like show-stopping monologue in the middle like that.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's what I like.
That like I feel that I would expect it to use the subject to make some more dramatic scenes, like some very emotional scenes, and that would feel like too easy. You know, like that's what people are expecting, and they don't do that. They do it. I only remember once when they are doing the agreements on the phone, and then the guy says, "Oh, what is that noise?" And he says, "Oh, they're crying. They never thought that
You wouldn't expect that.
that this day would ever happen." But I'm pretty sure that happened. Like it could have happened. Like it makes sense. So although it was emotional, like you can believe that.
Yeah.
That is nice.
And giving like, and it was like specifically to Yasser Arafat.
What I liked maybe the most is that it gives a very human side to politics.
Yeah.
You know, like we are not involved in politics. I don't know, and I don't think I know any politician personally. So like you know what you see on TV and like and the decisions they make. So like the display kind of gives us hope that you know all those guys like they were like in very high positions and they knew what they were talking about. Not only that, like they were smart. They were the people to have that position. Not only that, but they were so human.
Yeah.
So much that they were negotiating something super important, and they all had bursts of rage, and then they tried to control themselves. So like they were all reacting because they cared about that, like all of them. And the play is so well written, like so many nice things, like some small things, like
starts in a scene and then goes back a year.
That was so theatrical. That's so nice.
And then in the end of the first act, it comes back to the same scene. It repeats a part at the end.
Because like you watch the scene and you think, oh, I don't understand exactly what's happened. I think I missed something. But then you are told the story and then you understand the scene.
And then the second act, which is longer, 1.5 hours compared to 1 hour.
Yeah.
After that and until present time.
And like in some small, I don't know, lessons or how do you call it, like motives? Can you say motives for a play as well? That you know, like when they say it's not about you. Of course, it's something very simple, but that's kind of a lesson of like that is the only way of solving, of having a hope to solve any big conflict. Is that like not think of the greater good. Yeah,
humanity comes at this point as well. People wanting to get fame and prestige for what they've done.
Did you feel that it was very long, that it was too long?
Yes, the second act. First act, no. First act was completely immersed. The second act, I was halfway through, I was like kind of tired, mostly because like the scenes, they seemed a little bit like I wouldn't say repetitive, but they were like not changing that much. Like with the same scenery, with like the same people plus 1 or 2, and then like.
I think maybe what you're saying is like that you were tired, and I was tired as well. So that's what I'm saying. That I think it was like second act was very well written. It was as good as the first act, but it was longer. And then we had already received a lot in the first act. Like if this first act would have been longer than the second act, for me it would have been perfect. Then I would have a break, and then that's how usually plays are. Like the first act usually is longer.
And the problem is that like the first act, everything like as many plays, first act everything runs well and smoothly, and like you're hopeful that the second act will continue like that. And then comes the other Jewish Israeli representative who like. It's hard to like him. He's like super aggressive. He's not like the two professors, and he's like bragging and seducing the guy's wife, and and like that's the thing. Like, by the end, you understand that actually that's part you should not like. That's how I took it as well. Like, I didn't like him. I didn't want to be like friends with him, but while negotiating, like. He had some virtues and some things that you have to respect,
I feel that like all of them had like a strong personality, a personality.
Yeah.
But I feel that like all of them, they were different. You know, like you know, like you said, like you could take the things that he said that he did as sexist.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, nobody says that these people share the same interests. Like how do they say? Like you don't make deals with people you have dinner parties with.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like you have to find a way to find a common ground in which you can talk.
Yeah. So speaking of common grounds, like usually they connect through food. All of them loving, appreciating the waffles, and I like how like small things of their cultures are like are brought into the play, like how the Abu Allah. He he reminds me a lot of like, you could feel that and see that he was like from the Arab world. The way he was like saying things like, "Oh, my daughter, she's like the light of my life." This kind of poetic approach to life.
Swear on this, on your wife's soul.
Yeah, exactly. On my daughter's head.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the center of the play, but it was like there.
What about the women that were portrayed in the shows, especially the main Molga, the main woman? Because say what you want.
Yeah, she was the one doing most of the stuff, right?
Yeah.
She was like solving a lot of stuff and arranging, convincing people really.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And he was the one bragging and speaking loud and like.
Yeah, but at the same time, everybody seems to really respect her. Like, she had the reason and the strength, and like she could keep it together at the same time that she felt very emotional with it. I think she was exemplary. Like the character is the character that I would trust, that I would like. Yeah, so much that she talks to us, right? She's the one telling the story.
Yeah, exactly. She's the narrator. And by the end, she actually does intercede and like intervene and says, "Oh, sit down and try to fix things up." And I like very much the conclusion as well.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to say it didn't work. Like it didn't reach peace and prosperity to the region. It didn't bring that, but it brought hope. It brought the possibility that things would change. It was like it did work in a way.
Because that's what I was afraid. Like while watching the show, I thought, okay, like you're watching this, we're seeing this whole story, but we know that it wasn't the solution that it was promised to be. Like the war continues and not much has been solved. But then in the end, they kind of fixed that. They're like, okay, we told this story to serve as inspiration and to maybe give people hope.
So I would give 4 stars. 4 stars. Seems good. Was very compelling, very well done. Acting specifically was something to like I would like to highlight.
And we were not that close, right? We were in the circle, so we
fourth row of the circle.
Yeah, so in the first act I was like, yeah, it's a 4-star show, I really like it. Then in the second act I thought, oh, but like I'm a bit tired, although it's good. But now that we're talking about it, and then I see how, like, now that I thought a little bit more about it, I'm more inclined to give a 4. So I would say 4 star.
All right.
Okay, so
Bye.
that was Oslo at the National Theatre. Bye.
Bye.